Are you applying for U.S. citizenship now or thinking of applying for it? Well, if you are, you must watch this video because there are huge changes to the civics test that's coming down right now as I'm doing this video that's going to affect what you're going to have to do in order to qualify for U.S. citizenship. Make sure you watch this video if you are applying, thinking of applying, or just about to walk in for your interview because it's critical information. Hi, and thank you for joining me to talk U.S. immigration. My name is Andrea Shev. I'm a U.S. immigration attorney if you don't know me already, and I put together this YouTube channel to give you clear, concise, and easy to understand information about all different topics related to U.S. immigration. Now, this video, I am going to talk about the new rules that are coming down for U.S. citizenship applications. More specifically, the new civics test that is happening right now and being put into place. It goes into effect 30 days from September 18, 2025. So be prepared. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about what are these changes to the civics test, who does it actually affect, if you're already in the queue to get your citizenship interview, is it going to affect you, and what other things are coming down the queue that are changing with regard to the U.S. citizenship application and process and qualifications. So make sure you watch the entire video because I want to go through all of that with you, and it's really important information if you're applying now for citizenship or you're thinking of applying in the future. Let's get into it. Alrighty, I have in front of me the actual Federal Register that came down on September 18, 2025. These rules will go into effect in 30 days. So if you're watching this video earlier and it hasn't gone into effect yet, you'll be prepared. And if you're watching it after the 30 days, you'll also be prepared because that will be what the actual civics test is. Also, don't forget to check below this video in the description because I will put in there any updates to this because it's a constantly changing situation. So make sure you check below this video and I'll put any changes that you need to know with regard to what I've already put in this video. Okay, and don't forget to hype this video because there's a new thing YouTube is doing. If you can hype the video for me, that'd be great. In the first 7 days of this video, I think you can hype it and it will get more exposure so more people know about this information. But let's get started. I have it right here in front of me and I'm gonna read a lot of it because I wanna make sure I get it accurate to you because it just happened. So first and foremost, they have changed the civic test again. In the Trump administration before, the test was changed and then it was changed back. And now we're going back to the old one that was in effect before, but there are some changes and some little things that are different than it was before. So let's go through what those changes are. Okay, it's going to revert back to the 2020 test framework. And if none of you know what that is, it's the other test that was put into effect prior to it going back to the one that was put in effect recently, if that made any sense at all. Okay, so that means that the test bank of questions will be 128 civics questions instead of the 100 from the 2008 test. And the test length is going to be 20 questions, not 10 anymore. So they're going to ask you 20 questions. But the change in this actual protocol is that they're going to stop once you get 12 correct. So you have to, and before it was 10 questions, you have to get 6 correct. Now it's going to be 20 questions and you have to get 12 correct. Big change. But before they were asking you all 20 questions, now they will stop once you get 12 of them correct. So that's a big change. It's a little bit better than it was before, but still there's going to be 20 questions versus the 10 that we had before. So the other thing you need to know though about the number of questions and how many you have to get right is if you get 9 questions incorrect, you fail. So it stops, the test stops. So they will stop the test if you get 12 correct, you pass, and they will also stop the test if you get 9 incorrect and you'll fail. So it makes this 2025 test less burdensome than the 2020 test, but it keeps it a higher standard of amount of questions you have to answer correctly. So who does this affect? Who is going to be subject to the new test? Well, if you've already filed for naturalization, if you've already filed your N400, you will still be taking the old test. Also, if you file within the 30 days of this publication, which comes out on September 18th or came out on September 18th, then you will be taking the old test. If you file 30 plus days from the publication, you're going to have to take the new test. So if you don't want to take the new test and you don't have to be subject to these new rules, then I highly suggest you file immediately your N400 applications. So there is a special consideration group. If you're 65 years or older and you've been a permanent resident for more than 20 years, you will get a different version of the test. You will get, and I'm going to read it, a shorter 10-question test drawn from a special pool of 20 questions. The passing requirement will remain 6 correct answers. And if you're filing before the 30-day window, like I said, questions come from the 2008 test pool. If you're after that, they'll come from the 2025 test pool. So be aware, if you filed already, your questions will come from the 2008 test pool. If you're going to file into the future, meaning after the 30 days, after the publication of this new rule, then you're going to be subject to questions taken from the 2025 test pool. Now, where can you find these new questions? Because there'll be new questions because they're asking you more questions. So they've changed the questions. They will put out the study materials and they will give you access, it says, to a 128 question pool right when the publication is going to come out or shortly thereafter. So you will have time to review those new questions before your interview comes around. And the materials from the 2008 test, which is the one that you're taking currently right now, if this is not into effect yet, will remain temporarily available. Eventually, those 2008 questions are going to go away because 30 days past this publication, it's no longer going to be used, those 2008 questions. So you're only going to have access to study from the 2025 pool of questions. So in short, this new civics test is going to be more rigorous and more thorough than the prior test, but it will be fair that they will not require you to answer all 20 questions. Once you hit the 12 correct questions, it will end. And they feel that that's a fairer way than what was happening prior in 2020. So what are other changes that are coming down the wire with the Trump administration with regard to applying for U.S. citizenship and qualifying that are not part of this particular publication that deals with the civics test? Well, let me read to you a few of the things that are coming. And as we know with the Trump administration, things happen very quickly. So be ready and be aware of these changes. First of all, there's going to be stricter reviews of disability exceptions to the English and civics requirements. Also, USCIS has also provided officers guidance on assessing aliens' good moral character, looking for positive contributions to American society instead of a mere absence of bad behavior. Before, we would just look at, have you committed crimes? Have you violated anything? And that would disqualify you. Now they're giving the officers guidance on assessing what have you done well? What have you done for the United States as part of the process of qualifying? The agency will also, the USCIS will also resume neighborhood investigations to ensure that aliens meet statutory requirements and are worthy of US citizenship. What does that mean? We're not 100% sure, but they're coming, and I'm sure they'll give us more details of what that will entail as we get closer to that being implemented. The bottom line is, U.S. citizenship applications are going to become more difficult to get through. They're going to get more difficult to be approved. So if you haven't applied for citizenship yet, I suggest you apply immediately. If you're watching this video and you're outside those 30 days from September 18, 2025, then you're already in the new laws and the new policies regarding applying for U.S. citizenship. So just be aware that it's going to get stricter. So make sure you follow me, you make sure you watch my videos, make sure you read below this video of any other changes that are coming through with regard to the civics test, because things change constantly. If you have any questions, reach out to our office. Please, I'm happy to help. And good luck out there. I will keep you as updated as I can on all these changes, but make sure you stay connected so we don't miss anything. Thank you for watching. I hope this gave you some really solid information about what's coming so you can prepare yourself. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you next time. Take care.